Mm-hmm. Good afternoon and welcome here to Winterholder Field here on the campus of Taylor University for the second game and the second day of the four-game doubleheader series between Receiving Votes Taylor and number 12 Indiana Tech. This is the Marion General Hospital pregame show. Yesterday, Taylor came out on top by finals of 2-1 and 8-1. Joe Moran, your winning pitcher in game number one, with Mitch Eubler picking up the save. Today on the mound here in game one for the Trojans, it'll be the redshirt freshman Matt Dutkowski, who had a nice day out at first base a day ago. Matt starting the second game of the season, appearing in his fifth contest. A 2.84 ERA with a 2-1 overall record. In 12 2/3 innings this year, he struck out 13 and walked 5 and allowed just 4 runs. He'll face the lefty Yeshua Saint, and we're underway at exactly 1 o'clock. Ball one to the switch-hitting Saint. The right-handed throwing Dutkowski gets Saint to pop the second one into the air. Third baseman Brett Lawson tracking it. And he'll sail out of play just in between Brian Fields, who's joining us here today down the left field line. The defense behind Dutkowski today is Jacob Morris in left, Jonathan Foster in center, TJ Bass in right. Lawson is at third. We just met him. Nick Ruschi at short. Cade Vandermolen is at second. And Joe Moran, yesterday's starting pitcher and designated hitter, is at first. Ben Calball behind the plate. A ball and a strike to Saint, who's 0 for 5 on the year. And there's his first as he loops that one over Moran on the right field line. Saint will round first, then sliding is Vandermolen. Saint in there at second base as that ball checked up in the wet grass after the rain last night. And Saint in there, and he's standing at second base. A much better start for Indiana Tech here in game one than what we saw yesterday as their offense was slow to get going. So that'll go down as a hit for Saint. And he stands a second and will bring up Jacob Daftari. Daftari yesterday much better in game one than in game two. He went 2 for 4 in game one, 0 for 2 in the nightcap. Dutkowski out of the stretch. Ruschi comes in and they go flying back to second base will be Saint. A backdoor breaking ball misses its mark for ball number 1. Daftari, a 5'10 junior, bats right from Fishers, Indiana, and Hamilton Southeastern High School. Runner at second after the leadoff hit from Yeshua Saint. Dutkowski fires this one in at the knees, called for strike 1. Following Saint will be the pitcher Spencer McGee, then Mike Snyder, Jacob Alvarez, Christian De Los Santos, Manuel Escano, Reese Olden, and Jake Ritson. The batting order here in game one of the doubleheader for Indiana Tech this afternoon. A ball and a strike. Leadoff man stands at second. Big lead for Saint over there, and Dutkowski steps off the rubber, and Saint will go clapping back to second. Indiana Tech in the road orange today with black numbers and the black letters. The Trojans in their new gold uniforms with purple numbers and purple letters. 1-1, Dutkowski out of the stretch, goes low, golfed into the netting to our right. Strike number 2 to Daftari. Righty versus righty matchup. No one gone here in the top of the first of this 9-inning game number 1. Dutkowski sets and comes home. A line drive back up the middle, and this will score the first run of the day. Foster comes up throwing. Daftari will score with ease. Moran cuts the throw off in the middle of the infield, and it's an RBI single for Jacob Daftari. And after the offense was quiet a day ago with just 8 hits and only 2 runs to show for it, Indiana Tech scores in the opening inning here with still nobody out. And the pitcher, Spencer McGee, a switch hitter, will try to help out his own cause. That run is just the second one scored by Indiana Tech in the first inning all season. They had just 2 runs in their 3-game series at Tennessee Wesleyan a week ago. Fastball outside corner taken for a strike by the switch-hitting McGee, who bats as a lefty against the right-handed throwing Dutkowski. Daftari at first. He has yet to attempt a stolen base this year. Indiana Tech is 0 for 2 on stolen base tries as a team here in the early going of 2021. Daftari wants to go here. Hit and run is on. This one looped into right field. That's 3 straight hits for the top of the order here for Indiana Tech. And it's a 1-0 lead here for the Warriors. And the courtesy runner comes on. This will be Parker Bates, number 16. And time will be called as Taylor head coach Kyle Gould will make his way out to the mound to talk things over with Dutkowski, who's in his second season here at Taylor. We've seen Bates saw Bates a little bit yesterday as a pinch hitter in game number 2 and a pinch runner in game 1. So the whole infield comes in and talks things over with 17th-year head coach Kyle Gould. Kip McWilliams in his 14th season leading Indiana Tech. The Warriors in search of their first win of the season. They're 0-5 on the year, all in true road games. The Trojans improved to 9-6 with their doubleheader sweep yesterday. It'll be the second baseman, Mike Snyder, who is a tall fella playing second base at 6'4". Both second basemen today, ironically enough, with Vandermolen at 6'1", but a healthy 215, a lot bigger than what you normally see at that second base spot. 2 on and nobody out, 3 straight hits to start things off here for Indiana Tech, and they lead 1-0 as Dutkowski will deal out of the stretch, desperately in need of that first out of the afternoon. Dutkowski comes home, fastball inside to the righty Snyder, and it's ball number 1. Fifth appearance for Dutkowski this year, his second start, as we mentioned. 2-1 with a 2.84 ERA. But Indiana Tech has figured something out against Dutkowski after their offense was quiet through most of the day yesterday. The 1-0. Off speed and gets it over for a strike to even the count. Snyder batting .154 on the young season, 2 for 13 in the 4 games that he's played. Played in just game 1 yesterday, did Snyder, going 1 for 4. It's a 1-0 Indiana Tech lead. The first 3 men have all reached base safely. Dutkowski throws an off-speed pitch low, and it's 2-1 in favor of the batter, Snyder. Two balls and a strike for Dutkowski here with 2 on and nobody out in the top of the first. High bouncer left side. Lawson charges, snags it, steps on third, trying to turn 2 over to first. He will not be able to. But the Trojans get the first out here in the top half of the first inning. There's still 2 on for Indiana Tech, but there's 1 out on the board for the Warriors. So Daftari out at third, and Bates advances the second on the fielder's choice, and it brings up the right fielder, Jacob Alvarez. Alvarez 1 for 4 yesterday, his only hit coming game number 2. First and second are where the runners stand for Indiana Tech. They lead 1-0 top of the first. Alvarez pops the first one up to the infield. Dutkowski screams everyone away, makes a one-handed catch on the first baseline, and after the first 4 men reach base safely, back-to-back outs here from Dutkowski, and he's out. He's 1 out away from keeping the damage to just 1. And it'll be the first baseman, Christian De Los Santos. Bates at second after running for the pitcher McGee, who singled into right field. And Snyder at first after the fielder's choice. 2 outs, 1 run home for Indiana Tech, top of the first in game 1 of our doubleheader today. Fastball to the outside half for a called strike to De Los Santos. De Los Santos played in just one game yesterday, going 0 for 2 as the DH in Game 1. Second one. Ground ball left side. Russi dives. It just misses off the end of his glove. They'll wave the lead runner around Bates from second. The throw comes in from left. Good throw. Tag is in, and he is out. An excellent throw from Jacob Morrison left, and he gets the out at home, and the damage limited to just one as Morris throws a missile from left field.
Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland is proud to support Taylor University Athletics. Located at 148 South Main Street, Best One is open 6 days a week. Owner Mike Pearson and his staff offer replacement tires from brands like Bridgestone, Firestone, and Goodyear. Customers can also shop for tires from the comfort of their home by using the online Tire Finder. When it's time for mechanical repairs, Best One's ASE certified technicians can perform a wide range of services to get their customers back on the road. And those same technicians can do repairs on fleet vehicles as well. Taylor Athletics says thank you to Mike Pearson and everyone at Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Nick Russi will lead things off for Taylor against Spencer McGee for Indiana Tech. Just one run in for the Warriors after an excellent throw from the left fielder Jacob Morris to snuff out what would be the second run of the inning. Instead, it stays at just a 1-0 deficit here for Taylor as they bat in the bottom of the first. Game 1 of the doubleheader today set to go 9. And Game 2, like yesterday, will go 7, just like the Trojans will be playing during the Crossroads League season, which will start next week here against Goshen. Little looper right side coming in and diving and making the catch in center field for Indiana Tech will be Reese Olden. Takes away a base hit from Nick Russi, and back-to-back stellar defensive plays, one for Taylor and one for Indiana Tech. And there's the first out of the inning for the Trojans. And that brings up Cade Vandermolen, the second baseman. Vandermolen batting out of his traditional number 2 spot in the batting order. First one a ball, second one a strike, 1-1. Vandermolen batting .235 this year with 4 runs batted in. Had a home run yesterday that proved to be the difference in the Game 2 victory for the Trojans. Second one from McGee low. Taylor was down that day 1-0 in the bottom of the third before the Vandermolen home run over the left field fence. Put Taylor up 3-1, and the Trojans would add 5 more for the 8-1 margin and the victory yesterday. They trail 1-0 here in the bottom of the first with nobody on and 1 gone. Fastball belt high. Vandermolen takes it, and the count runs full, 3-2. McGee with an 8.10 ERA in 3 innings coming in this year. There's 4 strikeouts. Leaves that one up high, and it'll be a 1-out walk And the Trojans have the tying runner on here in the bottom of the first. The defense behind McGee today. Saint in left, Olden in center, Alvarez in right, Daftari at third, Ritson at short, Snyder at second, De Los Santos is at first, and Escano behind the plate. They check on Vandermolen at first. He dives back in time. Following Bass will be Ben Calbaugh, the catcher, Matt Dudkowski, the pitcher, Joe Moran, the first baseman, Jacob Morris, the left fielder, Brett Lawson, the third baseman, and the center fielder, Jonathan Foster. Bass still leading the Trojans in hitting at .298 after a rough day at the plate yesterday. And again, they check on Vandermolen over at first. Bass also leads the Trojans in hits on the season here in his junior year. First one, he will sky into the cloudless sky overhead. Jogging in will be Alvarez from right. He's underneath and makes the grab for out number 2. And the Trojans will turn to Ben Calbaugh, trying to keep the bottom of the first alive. 2 down for Taylor. Taylor was aggressive yesterday trying to get on top of the Indiana Tech pitchers in game 2. It worked. That's what led to the Vandermolen home run. And Ben Calbaugh will dig in for the first time today. Back over to first. And Dudkowski diving back, or excuse me, Vandermolen back in time. Calbaugh, like Bass before him, have reclassified as sophomores, electing to take their COVID extra year of eligibility. There is a ton of Taylor guys that have elected to do this. You have your seniors coming back from a year ago, and Lawson, Waddups, and Eubler. But plenty of those young guys have elected to take that extra year, stretch their classes out, and the Taylor coaching staff and fans very excited to have those guys sticking around as long as they are allowed to legally. 1-0 to Calbaugh, rips it left side, it lands just inside the left field line, and this will be extra bases for Calbaugh. Vandermolen hustling into third, Calbaugh coasting in, standing up with a 2-out double. And the Trojans have the tying and go-ahead runs in scoring position for the pitcher, Matt Dudkowski. And the courtesy runner, Josh Godfrey, comes in for TU to run for Calbaugh. So 2 on as the Trojans try to touch up McGee. It'll be the lefty Dudkowski stepping in. Like Rushi throws right and bats left. Vandermolen the tying run at third. The go-ahead man is Godfrey at second. In front of a nice crowd here at Winterholder Field on a sunny Saturday. First pitch, Dudkowski tried to take it out of the park. He comes up empty. It's a swing and a miss for strike 1. Dudkowski batting an even .200 in his second go-around as a freshman with 11 runs batted in. And you guessed it, he's elected to take his extra year of eligibility. The 1-strike pitch, outside, good snag by the catcher Escano, and the count evens at 1-1. Winterholder Field eerily quiet. The Trojans trying to tie and potentially take the lead here in the bottom of the first. McGee readies and comes home with the 1-1. A curveball that bounces away to the backstop away from Escano. Here comes Vandermolen, slides in, safe, beats the throw, and the ball game tied at 1 on the wild pitch by McGee. And move Godfrey up to third base as well. It's now the go-ahead run, now 90 feet away. And a hitter's count at 2-1 for Dudkowski. It's Godfrey down at third. Moran on deck. Dudkowski at the plate. The 2-1. Swing and a miss from Dudkowski, and the count levels 2-2. Matt went 2 for 3 with a pair of runs batted in with a double yesterday in Game 2. It gave Taylor some breathing room and put him up 5-1. Trying to put Taylor ahead here. Someone's phone ring down below. Dudkowski fouls this one straight back, and the count stays at 2-2. Just one hit for the Trojans. That was the double by Calbaugh. Godfrey running for him now at third. Vandermolen walked with one out. Moved to third on the double and scored on the wild pitch. 2-2 to Dudkowski from McGee. Ground ball right side, right to the second baseman, Snyder. Fields at the shoot top, tossing softly to first. And that ball took a long time to get there. Dudkowski, though, couldn't get there in time. And the score tied at 1 after one inning here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or it can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
When you need the fuel to be your nephew's #1 fan, Holiday Inn Express. We're there, so you can be too.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and
The catcher, Ascano, will lead things off in the top of the second here for Indiana Tech. The ball game tied at 1. Ascano pops it up. This one drifting into the on-deck circle. Calbaugh jogs over, makes easy work of it. One pitch and one out here in the top of the second. Ascano will be followed by Olden, who had the diving catch in the bottom of the first, and then Jake Ritson, the shortstop. Olden has played and started in all 6 games for Indiana Tech this year. Still in search of that elusive first hit. He's 0 for 13. First one taken for a strike on the outside half. Olden, a 5th-year senior, 5'10", from New Haven, Indiana. The one-strike pitch away for ball 1. Wind blowing out towards right center field today after blowing in from right center a day ago. 1-1. Line drive into the gap. Morris will not be able to get there in time. Then he's going to bounce by him. Backing it up will be the center fielder Foster, trying to hustle into second, and getting there in time is going to be Olden. Second time we've seen a slip by a Trojan outfielder. It happened on the double by Saint an inning ago, and now here for Morris. It bounces away from him. Thankfully, Foster there to back it up. And the go-ahead run in scoring position for Indiana Tech with just one retired. Fifth hit of the early going here for Indiana Tech on a double for Olson. An impressive way to get his first hit of the season. An inside fastball misses its mark for ball 1 to Ritson. Ritson batting out of the 9 spot today. Pickoff attempt back to second. Getting back in time will be Olden, with Vandermolen and the second baseman covering. We mentioned the good crowd today. We look down to our left. We see the namesake of Winterholder Field, Coach Winterholder, the Hall of Famer, taking in today's contest. I'm sure he got his normal exercise walking around the George Glass Track and Field Complex earlier today, as he normally does during the week. Ritson a bunt up the right side of the infield, snagged in the air by Dudkowski. Underhands to Moran at first for out number 2. Move Olden up 90 feet to third base. And that takes us back to the top of the order, and Saint, who had the double. Indiana Tech trying to regain a 1-run advantage after leading by 1 after the top of the first. Taylor tied it in the home half of that inning, and we're in the top of the second here. First pitch swinging, line drive. It'll sail out of play to the left all the way to the football field. And speaking of football, the Taylor football team squaring off with number 2 Marion today in their season opener. That game kicked off about 25 minutes ago down in Indianapolis. Righty versus lefty here. Saint doubled his first time up. And down the middle goes Dudkowski. Right at the knees. And it's 0-2 on a called strike. Runner at third. And a 1-1 game here early on in Game 3 of the series. Game 1 of our doubleheader this afternoon. The 0-2 from Dudkowski. Saint goes upstairs. They appeal. And they'll say he held the bat back. Cowbaugh can't believe it. And there's ball 1, but a tasty fastball upstairs. Saint able to lay off of it just enough. And he stays alive for at least one more pitch. One and two, 2 outs. Go-ahead man at third for Indiana Tech. Swing and a miss as Saint got spun around. Dudkowski's first strikeout keeps the game tied at 1 as we head to the bottom half of the second inning. The Trojans will have Moran, Morris, and Lawson up next on the Trojan Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken.
First baseman Joe Moran will lead it off for Taylor here in the bottom of the second with the game even at 1. First pitch swinging, and he fouls it back for a foul ball. Moran, Morris, and Lawson, the Taylor 3, here in the bottom half of the second in a 1-1 game, or in a 1-1 game, excuse me. Moran coming to Taylor after a decorated career at Anderson. Second one misses away for ball 1. McGee out of the windup. The righty comes home. Moran checks his swing, but is in the bottom part of the zone. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Moran batting .175 this year with 6 runs driven in and a home run. Moran leading off the bottom of the second. Curve ball that he slaps at, letting it looping into right field. Jogging in Alvarez. He's underneath and makes a stylish catch in right field for out number 1. Just 1 hit for Taylor today, but they were the beneficiaries of the wild pitch from McGee to score the tying run here this afternoon so far. And Morris had the highlight of the top of the first for Taylor defensively, throwing out what would have been the second run of the day for Indiana Tech from left field. He blasts this one to left, going back and unable to make the catch as St. as it sails over his head, goes all the way to the track. Morris going opposite way, St. fumbling with it, and Morris wants to stretch into three. He's got to hit the brakes and go back to second. Thankfully for him, the cutoff man, the shortstop Ritson, turned and went to third instead of seeing how far Morris was off of second. So he's in there safely, darting back at second base. And the Trojans have the go-ahead man with their first extra base hit of the day. Second hit of the day for the home team. It'll be Brett Lawson digging in for TU. Lawson batting out of the 8th spot for TU, still with plenty of pop in that bat for 15 in gold today. Sits on a fastball up high, 1-0. Brett 5'9" out of Margate, Florida, and Calvary Christian Academy. With Jonathan Foster waiting on deck. Dancing off at second is Morris. Lawson turns and skies it foul off to out of play to the left. McGee, the righty, out of the stretch with Morris shaking his legs out at second. 1-1 to Lawson here in the bottom of the second. Game tied at 1. The pitch, off speed, hits the outside corner. Nicely placed by McGee for strike number 2. Lawson, that slightly open right-handed batting stance. Morris with a healthy lead out there at second, with Ritson the shortstop acting as a shadow right behind him. 1-2 comes home. Lawson checks his swing low in the turf. Ascano on top. They appeal, and it's ball number 2 to Lawson as he held the bat back. Brett batting .333 this year, has dealt with some injuries here in the early going of the season. But when he is healthy, as he showed yesterday with that fine diving stop at third, one of the top defensive third basemen in the Crossroads League. 2-2 from McGee. Outside, 3-2 now. First base is open after the Morris double. Jonathan Foster behind him, a skilled bunter. So if Lawson can get on here, you might see Foster lay a bunt down, and you combine that with his stellar speed, that can apply a lot of pressure on an infield. Full count to Lawson as McGee steps off. Morris went jogging back to second, now reestablishes his healthy lead. Payoff pitch from McGee to Lawson. Upstairs for ball 4, and there are 2 on for the Trojans on the second walk issued by McGee today. And here comes Jonathan Foster. If you didn't join us yesterday, you missed the story about how there was 8 inches of snow on this field on Monday. The baseball coaching staff and team worked tirelessly for 2 straight days to get the field cleared, and there's not a snowflake in sight. On the playing surface, and no one covering first, McGee throws it away, and that'll move everyone up at least 90 feet as Morris will hit the brakes at third. Not covering first was De Los Santos. McGee threw it over there anyway, almost hit Lawson, who was still on the bag. And the error by McGee puts the go-ahead run 90 feet away and an insurance run right behind him. You can hear the Indiana Tech infield saying, watch the bunt, since Foster was a skilled craftsman in that category yesterday. Even more so now with runners at second and third. The corner infielders coming in, Daftari and De Los Santos. Foster shows bunt, right back up the middle, squeeze play on, trying to get the tag out will be the pitcher McGee. He gets Morris out on the left shoulder for out number 2. Lawson moves up to third. As Indiana Tech head coach Kip McWilliams comes out of the dugout to say something to the home plate umpire. Morris did lean in to the tag applied from McGee. Now a discussion between our home plate umpire and Taylor head coach Kyle Gould. 1st and 3rd for the Trojans. Still tied at 1. 2 outs as both teams have had opportunities to regain a lead in this second inning. Just 2 hits for Taylor today. And back to the top of the order we go in Ruschi. Olden, the center fielder, playing in and slightly to our right. Back over to first. This time De Los Santos is covering. Is able to make the catch. Foster a safe lead at first. Lawson over at third. He's the go-ahead run in the 1-1 bottom of the second. Inside curveball covered up by the catcher Escano. Ball number 1. Ruschi looked to maybe having a little flare in the right center field, but diving and taking it away was Reese Olden for the first out of last inning. The 1-ball pitch to Ruschi. Watches that one sail high and away, 2-0. Vandermolen waits on deck for TU. He scored on a wild pitch to tie the game an inning ago. Taylor with the gold tops and the white pants today. Indiana Tech in the orange uniforms and gray pants. McGee, the righty, out of the stretch, quickly comes set, comes home, and the lefty Ruschi will send it high and away back to our left. Foul ball, strike 1. Two balls and a strike for Ruschi. 2 outs and 2 on. Back over to first again, and diving in is Foster with no tag by De Los Santos. Two balls and a strike. Ground ball right side, right to the first baseman De Los Santos. He steps on first, and the Trojans will leave 2 stranded. We're through 2 here on the Trojan Sports Network in the game between Taylor and Indiana Tech, knotted at 1.
Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland is proud to support Taylor University Athletics. Located at 148 South Main Street, Best One is open 6 days a week. Owner Mike Pearson and his staff offer replacement tires from brands like Bridgestone, Firestone, and Goodyear. Customers can also shop for tires from the comfort of their home by using the online Tire Finder. When it's time for mechanical repairs, Best One's ASE certified technicians can perform a wide range of services to get their customers back on the road. And those same technicians can do repairs on fleet vehicles as well. Taylor Athletics says thank you to Mike Pearson and everyone at Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1960.
Still 1-1 as we get ready to start the top half of the third, with third baseman Jacob Daftari up here for Indiana Tech. Third inning of work for the starter Matt Dudkowski, and the first pitch is in there for a strike. Daftari an RBI single to give Indiana Tech a 1-run lead in the top of the first. Daftari came into the day batting .333, 2 for 6. Swings and fouls it back here. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Daftari, the pitcher McGee, and Snyder to follow here in the top half of the third. 5 hits so far for Indiana Tech, 2 extra base knocks. But They've left 3 stranded. The Trojans have left 3 on the bases as well. 1 run and 2 hits for the home team. 1-2 up high for ball 2. Dutkowski out of the windup. Righty versus righty matchup, and going down and staying alive is Daftari, getting a piece of it. The RBI for Daftari, his first one of the season for the junior out of Fishers. 2-2 as he leads off the top half of the third. 1-1 score. Ground ball left side, but it bounces foul as Lawson watches that one bounce away. Dutkowski set, now peers over his tan mitt. Another 2-2 to Daftari. Ground ball up the middle. Ruschi charges, fields, throws it on a set over to Moran at first. Nicely done by Nick Ruschi. 1 up, 1 down here in the third. Ruschi shows off the speed there, darting to his left, scoops it up, and gets the out at first base. It'll be Spencer McGee, the next one up here for the Warriors of Indiana Tech, ranked 12th in the country in the preseason poll. Taylor receiving votes just a hair outside at top 25. Switch hitting McGee against the right-handed throwing Dutkowski. First one lifted backwards, foul. McGee singled in the second, but then got thrown out trying to score from second by Jacob Morris for the last out in the top of the first. Goes around here on an inside pitch that was low in the turf. 0-2 with nobody on and 2 outs. And a 1-1 game in the top of the third. Game 3 of the series, game 1 of the doubleheader today. Taylor won both games yesterday, 2-1 and 8-1. To try to pick up the series win over number 12 Indiana Tech. Little dribbler left side, righting forward is Ruschi at short. Fields, fires, scooping it. Off the turf is Moran, 2 up and 2 down. Both on putouts by Ruschi at short. That one he had to wait to come to him a little bit. And to scoop it up pretty low. Base is vacant for Mike Snyder, the second baseman. Straight up and down stance for Snyder. Backdoor breaking ball from Dutkowski. Misses its mark for ball 1. Dutkowski quickly works. Second one, back to Ruschi again from Snyder. Scoops it off the turf, fields. And there's a nice Nick Ruschi, top of the third. 3 up, 3 down, all on ground balls to Ruschi at short. Through 2.5, it is number 12 Indiana Tech 1 and Taylor 1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Play that old song. You really want her to play it. That's what's really going to evoke the memory. You got to have the music that you listen to.
1-1 game as we get ready to start the bottom of the third. 2, 3, and 4 coming up for Taylor, Vandermolen, Bass, and Calbaugh. Strike on the first pitch from McGee. Vandermolen scored the tying run for Taylor in the bottom of the first after walking his only time up today. Off the end of the bat, right to De Los Santos at first, who makes the easy catch for the first out here in the third. And that brings up TJ Bass, number 11. There are a couple people dancing to Bass's walk-up down to our right. It's always the good sign of a good walk-up, figuring out if you can get the people in the seats to dance. TJ 0 for 1 today, popped out to the right fielder Alvidrez. Nubs one off the end of the bat here. It rolls foul for strike one. Nothing in one to the power swinging Bass. And that one bounces in for ball one. TJ 1 for 4 with an RBI yesterday to put Taylor up 1-0 in game one of the doubleheader yesterday. Was 0 for 3 in game two. A ball and a strike with one out here in the third. High bouncer left side coming in is Daftari from third. Fields it, throws it to first. And there are two gone for Taylor here in the third. So McGee trying to duplicate what Dudkowski did in the top half of this inning, retiring the side in order. The batter will be Ben Calbaugh for Taylor. Who has the only extra base hit for Taylor today, only one of only 2 hits for Taylor overall. First one off speed at the knees for a strike. McGee quickly working here. Curveball that Calbaugh can't sit back on, and it's quickly 0-2. The 0-2. Calbaugh stays alive, fouling it to the parking lot to our right. As some people peer and look to see if that foul ball was heading towards their car. Still 0-2. That one low for ball one, bouncing in short. The pitcher Dudkowski stands on deck. 1-1 game here in the bottom of the third. Nobody on, 2 outs. Calbaugh had an RBI yesterday in game one on a fielder's choice to put Taylor up 2-1. That would prove to be the difference. High bouncer left side, but it will go foul. There was no signal if it was a fair or foul ball. Calbaugh checked up like it was foul. Daftari threw it over to first. But it's just a foul ball to Calbaugh. Still 1-2. Good read there by Daftari to make the play just in case it was in fair ground. Righty versus righty as McGee peers over his mitt. Goes into the windup. Inside, fighting it off on the hands is Calbaugh. This one loops foul. But a good swing as McGee tried to jam Calbaugh. One game, bottom of the third. Game 3 of the series. Game 1 of the doubleheader today. We'll go 9 here in the first one and then 7 in the nightcap. On a day that is bright and sunny and in the 50s. Calbaugh lifts the one up to the clouds. Out of play to the right. And it lands foul. Still 1-2. McGee aggressively shakes off the first sign from Escano. Breaking ball away. Excellent eye from Calbaugh, and the count evens up 2-2. Dudkowski on deck with Moran to follow if Taylor can string some base runners here. The 2-2. Cow ball to center field. Playing short was Olden. A good jump. Backpedaling in. He makes the catch, and Taylor retired in order in the third. 3 innings gone here from Winterholder Field. It's number 12 Indiana Tech 1 and Taylor 1 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965 when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
A good one here from Winterholder Field between number 12 Indiana Tech and receiving votes Taylor. First pitch swinging is Alvarez, foul territory right side. Moran's underneath. He makes the easy catch with those sunglasses on. 1 up, 1 down. Here in the fourth. Alvarez will be followed by Christian De Los Santos and Manuel Escano. 5 hits on the day here for Indiana Tech. They had 4 in the first. A double, a single, and another single. And another single, but look, they're going to get their second run of the day. Jacob Morris had other ideas. And that's proved key here so far with Taylor tying the game up in the bottom of the first, and then both teams leaving runners stranded here throughout the afternoon so far. Cow ball behind the plate. Second pitch from Dudkowski called for a strike at the knees. The 1-1. Little loop into the air. Going back, Vandermolen coming in. Bass slides. Oh, it just bounces out of his glove. Bass gets on top of it quickly, though. And it'll limit De Los Santos to just first base with a bloop single towards right. Tough one there for the hard-charging Bass from right. Looked like he had an opportunity at it. Did slide, got his glove, and he just bounced down. Again, we had some decent rain make its way through here last night. And so that outfield is a little bit slippery, and that ball not rolling as much as it did yesterday. Bouncer left side. It'll dart foul on the third base side. Strike one to the catcher, Escano, who's 0 for 1 today. One strike to Escano, who popped out behind home plate to Cowball his first time up. Go-ahead man is at first after the single. Alvarez, a little bloop right side. Vandermolen retreating into the shallow right field grass, makes the catch over his head for out number 2. Good job by Dudkowski after giving up the 4 hits in the first. He's held Indiana Tech to just 2 since. He'll bring up the center fielder, Reese Olden. Olden with a double today that got away from Jacob Morris. Dutkowski out of the stretch with 2 outs, 1-1 game. Backdoor breaking ball, leaning away is Olden for ball 1. Quick Taylor sports update. Taylor football at number 2 Marion. They're down 17-0 about midway through the second quarter in their season opener here in the spring season of 2021. The 1-ball pitch evens it up at 1-1 on a breaking ball at the knees. Dutkowski gets the signs from Cowball. Dutkowski steps off the hill. Will send De Los Santos back over to first, the first baseman here today for Indiana Tech. A ball and a strike to the batter, Olden, who's 1 for 1 today. And a 1-1 score in the 4th. Right field area, Bass will not be able to get to. He's going to bounce past him. He's going to slip and fall. And this could give Indiana Tech the lead back. De Los Santos hustling and rumbling around from first. The throw all the way from the track won't be in time. De Los Santos will coast in. Standing at second is Olden, another hit for him, and it gives Indiana Tech the lead back at 2-1. And that slippery outfield again comes back to hurt the Taylor outfielders. Second or third time we've seen someone in the outfield slip for the team wearing gold. And this time it leads to the second run of the day for Indiana Tech, and they go back in front by 1. A double for Olden, his second double of the day. And now Dutkowski will try to limit the damage to just 1. First 2 hits for Olden this season was 0 for 13 coming in. It's 2 for 2 today with a pair of doubles. And Drake Gongwer has made his way down to the Taylor bullpen to start warming up. Righty versus righty matchup here. Breaking ball below the knees away for ball 1. The batter is the shortstop, Jake Ritson. Batting for the second time does not have an official at bat as he had a sacrifice bunt in the second. Dutkowski takes a look back at Olden. Good off-speed pitch, swing and a miss, strike 1, 1-1. Two outs, but 1 run home for Indiana Tech. They've gone back in front by 1, 2-1. Here at the top of the 4th. Dutkowski readies out of the stretch. The righty comes home. Breaking ball away, 2-1. 50th pitch for Dutkowski today. As he tries to keep just a single tally here for Indiana Tech in this top half of the 4th. The 2-1, off speed and low, 3-1. Seven hits for Indiana Tech today, 2 runs. And we got a man at second here with 2 outs in the 4th after regaining the lead here in the inning. Dutkowski readies, looks back at the runner at second, brings it home. Belt high pitch off speed, called for a strike to make it a full count at 3-2. As that wind picks up now blowing from right field to left field. Blowing out towards right center when our game started about an hour ago. The 3-2 from Dutkowski, bouncing in for ball 4. There are 2 on for Indiana Tech with 2 outs here in the 4th after they've regained a 1-run advantage. First walk allowed by Dutkowski today. And back to the top of the order we go with the left fielder Yeshua Saint. And Cowball will call a time and go and talk things over with Dudkowski. Gongwer starting to speed up his warm-up tosses in the Taylor bullpen to our left right now. Two on, two out. It's Reese Olden at second after his RBI double to put Indiana Tech ahead 2-1, and Ritson right behind him after the walk. But 7 hits for the Warriors today. 3 have gone for extra bases. But thanks to that Morris throw from left field to end the top half of the first, it's just a 2-1 lead for Indiana Tech instead of 3-1. Yeshua Saint 1 for 2 today. He has one of the 3 doubles for the Warriors, doubling and scoring in the first. Goes after the first one here, bouncing a high hopper to Vandermolen at second, changes his mind at the last possible moment, and throws to second. Almost didn't get the out at second base. Could have gone to first, but he gets the out at second. And the damage limited to just 1 here at the top of the fourth. An RBI double by Reese Olden has put Indiana Tech back on top by 1, 2-1, after 3.5 here from Winterholder Field.
The decision you're making is about so much more than where you'll spend the next 4 years. It's about how you'll live the next 40. So let me break down the Taylor University experience. We integrate faith and learning to become well-rounded, lifelong learners, while delivering a deeper knowledge of our specific areas of study. Whether you're producing award-winning films, building satellites for NASA, or preparing for a national ethics debate, Taylor will push you to excel in your field. But excellence isn't always about having the right answers. Sometimes it's about asking the right questions. Taylor is interdenominational. That means we can't always fall back on specific church doctrine to settle issues. We rely on Scripture and the dynamic nature of iron sharpening iron to better know the God who's not afraid of our question. Much of this happens in the small town of Upland, Indiana, the place where Taylor does life together. But don't let this small town fool you. The schedule is packed with things to do, and through these activities, faculty, staff, and students become more than individuals occupying the same address. They become a community. But this community isn't limited to the campus. We travel. Boy, do we travel. We are ranked as one of the top 10 schools in the country.
Will try to help out his own cause here. He'll be followed by Moran and Morris, with Taylor trailing by 1 here in the bottom of the fourth. Spencer McGee back on the hill, the starter for his 4th inning of work. Dudkowski was on the first one back and out of play to our left. Dudkowski 0 for 1 today, grounded out to Snyder at second base to end the bottom of the first. The good news for Taylor, when they trailed earlier in the game, they came right back and got a run back in that first inning. Curveball hit well towards center field. Jogging back is Olden in left center, keeps going back and makes the catch above his head, puts Dudkowski down 0 for 2 on the day, 1 gone for Taylor here in inning number 4. Moran to follow him, who's still trying to get going offensively. Struck out 4 times in game 1 yesterday, and then went 1 for 3 with an RBI in game 2. Batting below 200 as play begins today. Breaking ball at the belt, outer half for a strike. And Joe 0 for 1 today, flying out to Alvarez and right. Second one missing on a fastball, 1-1. Morris behind Moran, waiting on deck. Third one bounces away, 2-1. There is a giant gap in right center field if Moran could go opposite way, as Olden, the center fielder, shading about 10-15 feet or so to our left towards the left center field gap. Alvarez playing in as well and right. Moran, what a towering shot to left field. Saint looking up, going back at the warning track, and it will get out of here as Moran ties the game at 2. His second home run of the year. The Trojans use the long ball to their advantage again in the game, even at 2 apiece as Moran takes McGee deep. That one had to go through the wind blowing out towards right center field. And just like in the first, the Trojans answer back with a run in the game, even at 2. That thing was so high it almost brought rain as it scraped the clouds, sailing over the left field fence. And Jacob Morris will try to keep the party rolling here in the bottom of the 4th. First one called for a strike. Morris 1 for 1 today, doubling in the second. 1 strike pitch, curveball. Morris high in the air towards left center field. St. and Olden both converging on it. It'll be Olden, the center fielder, to make the grab. 2 outs for Taylor here in the 4th for Brett Lawson. The home run for Taylor, just their 3rd hit of the day. But they've had the answer every time that Indiana Tech has gone back in front. Single runs in the first and a single run so far in the 4th, hoping for more if Lawson can find his way on base. First pitch swinging out of his shoes. Lawson comes up empty, 0-1. Brett walked his first time up today, then got stranded at 3rd, back in the 2nd inning. 2-2 game after the 2nd home run for Joe Moran this season. As McGee shakes off the first sign, likes the second. Lawson did too, but swings and misses again at a breaking ball. It's 0-2, with the bases empty and 2 outs here in the 4th. The 0-2 as McGee quickly works to the opposite batter's box from the righty Lawson. He watches it dart in for ball 1. Drake Gongwer has come in from the Taylor bullpen, so we might see him when the game rolls into the 5th. Lawson, though, hoping to extend the bottom of the 4th a little bit longer, down in the count 1-2. Now 2-2 with a curveball high and away. Brett batting .333 this season. He missed a couple of games both in Arizona, then when the Trojans got back from the J-term trip with a lower body injury. 2-2 from McGee. Lawson fights this one off, hits it into the lower body, and it remains 2-2. Jonathan Foster waits on deck for the Trojans. The home run from Moran here in the 4th has leveled our game at 2 runs aside. Now they're going to move the right fielder Jacob Alvarez just a little bit over there in right field. Breaking ball away, 3-2 as Lawson leans in and watches it miss the zone. Full count as Brett tries to make his way on base for the 2nd time today. McGee readies, shakes off the first one from Ascano. Payoff pitch home, swing and a miss upstairs. First strikeout today for McGee. But the Moran solo home run ties the game at 2 after 4 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland is proud to support Taylor University Athletics. Located at 148 South Main Street, Best One is open 6 days a week. Owner Mike Pearson and his staff offer replacement tires from brands like Bridgestone, Firestone, and Goodyear. Customers can also shop for tires from the comfort of their home by using the online Tire Finder. When it's time for mechanical repairs, Best One's ASE certified technicians can perform a wide range of services to get their customers back on the road. And those same technicians can do repairs on fleet vehicles as well. Taylor Athletics says thank you to Mike Pearson and everyone at Best One Tire and Auto Care Upland.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
First pitch, a swinging strike from the new pitcher in for the Trojans, Drake Gongwer, as he faces off with Jacob Daftari. So we trade one Walker, who's an Indiana native and Northwood High School grad, for another. As starter Matt Dudkowski, afternoon comes to a close. 4 innings, 7 hits, 2 runs, a walk, and a strikeout. Second pitch, a ball from Gongwer to Daftari, the third baseman. 1 for 2 is Daftari today with the RBI single in the first. Fastball up high, bounces out of Calbaw's glove. No trouble with no one on base. But the count goes to 2-1. Drake on the year, a 4.91 ERA, making his 5th appearance, all in relief. Has a 1-1 overall record in just over 7 innings thrown this season. Fastball low now, 3-1. We've seen Gongwer move around a little bit. Was a starter a couple of years ago. Remember, had a no-hitter down at Grand Park for the Trojans. Has bounced around a little bit. He's gone to more of a reliever role this year. Down to the count, 3-1 to Daftari. Gets a fastball at the letters to make the count full to the leadoff man here in the 5th, with the game tied at 1 after the Moran home run a half inning ago. Drake, a 6'3" right-hander in his junior season. Swing and a miss as Daftari almost falls over. It was dropped by Calbaugh. He'll toss it high down to first. Moran dives and gets back onto the bag with the glove. So a huge swing and a miss from Daftari. Almost ends in trouble for the Trojans, but Moran saves it. That was a little more of a higher blood pressure than I think you'd want on your first strikeout of the day, but either way, there's one gone here in the 5th. And it'll be the pitcher, Spencer McGee. The switch hitter batting as a lefty here against the right-handed throwing Gongwer. Breaking ball, beautifully done by Tenon Gold to paint the outside corner for a called strike. McGee 1 for 2 today, singling in the first, and then grounded out in the third. 2-2 game, top of the 5th. Fights this one off on the hands, foul territory. Lawson hustling. It'll land down to the earth before he can get to it in time. No balls and 2 strikes, so the base is empty, and 1 out here in the 5th for number 12, Indiana Tech. 7 hits for the Warriors today, and those 2 runs. Gongwer shakes off the first 2 signs from Calbaugh, likes number 3. The 0-2. Throws a fastball in the turf around home plate. Good eye from McGee for ball 1. Gongwer out of the stretch. The righty comes home. Ground ball right side. That'll turn right and go foul just outside of first base. Mike Snyder, the second baseman, waits on deck for the number 12 Warriors. Indiana Tech in search of their first win of the year. They're 0-5 after losing 3 to number 5 Tennessee Wesleyan last week and dropping the first doubleheader yesterday to this Taylor club. The 1-2 again from Gongwer. Little dribbler up the middle, hits off the mound. Vandermolen dives, stops, throws one from his knees, but McGee will beat the throw out. It'll bounce back to the fence. McGee didn't turn in time to try to take advantage of going to second. It bounces off the fence. It'll remain just an infield single for the pitcher, Spencer McGee, on his second hit today. It'll be Parker Bates coming into courtesy run once again for McGee. Still goes down as a hit, but that could have been even worse, as we've seen with this rain that came in last night. It's made the outfield grass extremely slow. And so if Vandermolen can't get to that ball, it could roll kind of that no man's land into the short outfield, and McGee might have had a chance to try to take it off to second. Bates on a hit and run here. This one pops straight back into the seats. Down below us. Oh, almost making the catch. I think that was Mitch Eubler's dad who almost came up with a souvenir, but I'll just hold on to it. Oh, he's got to give the ball back. That's sad. You know, some places you can turn the old foul balls in for a hot dog at the concession stand. But we need our foul balls here, so Mr. Eubler does not want to hold on to that one. He gives it back. His son pitched well yesterday, picking up the save. They check on the runner over at first. It's Parker Bates, courtesy running for the pitcher McGee. And it was Bates who was running for McGee in the first when he tried to score from second. A high throw that Moran sells and it went over his head. Hauls it back in. It was a tough, scary, it was an interesting play there. Bates tried to score from second. It was Morris who threw him out from left. They kept Indiana Tech with just one run. That's been a key so far. Cal ball blocks one in the turf here. 1-1. As each team has scored just a single run, both in the first and the fourth. But if not for Morris, Taylor would find themselves down 3-2 right now instead of tied at 2. 1-1 to Snyder, who's 0 for 2 this afternoon. Righty versus righty. Bates goes. Hit and run again. This one down the right field line. Bass tracking it. He might have some room. And he'll just run out of it as he goes barreling in to the fence, separating the Indiana Tech bullpen from the field. Foul ball makes it 1 ball and 2 strikes. As there is a little bit of activity starting over there in the Indiana Tech bullpen. 1-2 to Snyder. 2-2 game, top of the 5th, with 1 out and 1 on for the visiting 12th-ranked Warriors. Gongwer, the reliever, out of the stretch. Comes inside, fighting it off on the hands is Snyder, fouling it away, still 1-2. Snyder started the day batting .154. Came in 2 for 13. Was 1 for 4 in game 1 yesterday. That was the only time we saw the 6'4" second baseman. Another 1-2 from Gongwer. Runner goes. Backdoor breaking ball. Cowball throws a missile down to second, but sliding underneath the tag of Vandermolen is Bates. Stolen base for Indiana Tech, their first one of the series. And the go-ahead run in scoring position with 1 out and the count 2-2 to the batter Snyder. First stolen base for Indiana Tech this season. They had come in 0 for 2 in the first 5 games of the year. Two balls, 2 strikes, 1 out to Snyder, who's trying to find his way on the bases for the first time today. Gongwer steps off the hill. And now Cowball will come out and have a conversation with his pitcher. 8 hits for Indiana Tech, 2 runs, an error, and 5 left. Taylor with 2 runs, 3 hits, no errors, and 3 left. Game 3 of the 4-game set. This is you heard from our conversation with head coach Kyle Gould last night. This is done to mirror how the Crossroads League schedule looked this year with 2 doubleheaders, a 9 and then a 7 is how the games will go. Compared to years past when we had doubleheaders, it'd be a 7 and then a 9. 2-2 to Snyder, or a go-ahead run, stands at second base, and Bates. Backdoor curveball, fouling it away off the end of the bat is Snyder to keep the at-bat going. This kicks off a long homestand for the Trojans. They'll play 8 games in a row here at Winterholder Field. 4 next weekend against Goshen on Thursday and Saturday. Even though those 2 games on Saturday against Goshen listed as a neutral site game, they'll be right here at Winterholder Field. 2-2 again from Gongwer to Snyder. Inside fastball. Snyder backs away and the count runs full. Bates pinch running for the pitcher McGee, stands at second. The Indiana Tech dugout starting to come to life down to our right. Payoff pitch from Gongwer. Ground ball left side, right to the third baseman Lawson. Knocks it down, picks it up, can't get the out at first. And we'll see how they scored as Snyder on base safely for the first time today. Got caught up on the hands of Lawson down near his feet. And he'll go down as an E5, and there are 2 on here for Indiana Tech, trying to take the lead back with the game tied at 2. It'll be Jacob Alvadrez, the right fielder, trying to break this 2-all tie. Full slate of Crossroads League baseball games going on today. We'll bring them to you as the day allows. Gongwer inside for a strike one to the right fielder, Alvarez. Two-two game, top of the fifth, in game one of our doubleheader today. Indiana Tech in search of that elusive first win of 2021. They've got two on here with Bates at second and Snyder behind him at first. Gongwer taking his time, kicks and comes home with the 0-1. High bouncer left side. Ruschi charges, goes off of his chest. It'll bounce into the outfield, and this will put Indiana Tech back in front by one as Bates will score from second. A high bouncer off the artificial turf careens off the left side of the chest of Ruschi. As he might have had an opportunity, he was so close to second, could have turned two. Instead, Indiana Tech goes in front back again by one on the air, this time by Ruschi. So a couple of untimely errors here from Lawson and Ruschi, two of the more reliable players defensively in the Crossroads League. And Indiana Tech has gone in front 3-2 with still just one out. Fastball low, covered up by Calball for ball one to the first baseman Christian De Los Santos, who was 2 for 2 today with a pair of singles. Snyder at second, Alvarez behind him at first. Breaking ball in for strike one. Still just one out here in the inning. Gongwer got a strikeout to Daftari. That was a high throw on a dropped third strike. That Moran had to dive back and get to third. McGee singled. And then it was an error to put Snyder and Alvarez on and score Bates from second base. Third one. Breaking ball this time to the opposite batter's box of the righty De Los Santos, and it's 2-1. First inning of work for Gongwer, replacing Dudkowski, who started the game and went 4 innings. Allowed the first 2 runs of the day on 7 hits. Indiana Tech back in front by 1 here in the 5th. Fastball up high. De Los Santos can't sit back on it and misses. It's 2-2. First and second for Indiana Tech, leading 3-2 here in the 5th. With 1 out and 8 hits, the Trojans desperately trying to get the second out of the inning right here. Gongwer comes home, fouling it back into the netting. Will be De Los Santos to stay alive. Righty versus righty matchup here. De Los Santos trying to collect his 3rd hit of the afternoon. He's already 2 for 2. With 2 men on, and Indiana Tech trying to take their first multi-run lead of the day. 2-2, bouncing left side, foul territory, just by about a ball and a half width as Lawson was able to snag it. Still 2-2. Still just 1 out as 3 men have reached base safely on a single and then 2 on back-to-back errors by the Trojans left side of the infield. The catcher, Ascano, waits on deck for Indiana Tech. As De Los Santos steps back in, fouling off the last 2 pitches he's seen, both on 2-2 counts. Gongwer sets out of the stretch. Righty versus righty matchup comes home, and De Los Santos will send this one back and off to our right into the parking lot. A deep breath from De Los Santos. Gongwer on the first base side of the rubber with 2 on, 1 out. Curve ball, De Los Santos skies it. Calball can make a play on it, steps over the discarded bat by De Los Santos and makes the catch in front of the Indiana Tech dugout for a big out number 2 here in the 4th. It'll be Manuel Ascano, 0 for 2 on the afternoon. 2 runners on for Indiana Tech. They've gone in front 3-2. Single runs in the first, fourth, and here so far in the fifth. Gongwer out of the stretch. Backdoor breaking ball, nicks the inside half for a called strike one. Sam Shively has made his way down to the Taylor bullpen to start warming up. Another young man from northern Indiana, just like Gongwer and Dudkowski before him. Back to the breaking ball goes Drake, up high, 1-1. Snyder at second, Alvarez at first, both reaching on errors earlier here in the inning. And those errors have given Indiana Tech a 3-2 lead. Third one from Gongwer. Fastball fouled back by Escano. And he falls behind, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Escano popped out to Cowbaugh, the catcher, in the second, and then popped out to Vandermolen in the fourth. Sixth batter of the inning for Indiana Tech. They lead once again by 1. And time is called before Gongwer can deal home the 1-2. A beautiful day here in Upland, Indiana. Just a couple of wispy clouds overhead. Temperatures in the 50s. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Gongwer versus Escano. Runners go. Chasing a fastball up high and missing it is Escano. Second strikeout for Gongwer. But back-to-back errors come back to hurt the Trojans. They find themselves down by 1. 3-2, halfway home here in Game 1 of the doubleheader. Here against number 12, Indiana Tech.
Greek's Pizzeria in Upland opened its doors in December of 2017. Over the years, there have been more than 140 Greeks opened across the country, with 24 Indiana locations. When it comes to pizza, Greeks offers customers the option to create their own pizza or to try one of Greek's specialized pizzas. Greeks uses fresh, homemade, hand-tossed dough, Greek's Italian sauce, select blended cheeses, gourmet toppings, and the same method of preparation since the first restaurant opened in 1969. The kitchen can also whip up a sandwich served on fresh French-style bread, or it can put that sandwich into a pizza shell wrap. Customers can also add breadsticks or French-style bread as a side item. Greeks also offers a selection of salads and assorted dressings as well. Greeks is located just off Main Street in Upland and is a proud supporter of Taylor University Athletics. Greek's Pizzeria. It's our taste.
When you need the fuel to be your nephew's #1 fan, Holiday Inn Express. We're there, so you can be too.
A pinch hitter for the Trojans to start things off here in the bottom of the fifth. Number 9, Connor Crawford, will come in to pinch hit here for Jonathan Foster. And then back to the top of the order we'll go with Ruschi and Vandermolen. And Connor goes up 2-0. Foster 0 for 1 today, batting out of the 9 spot is who Connor is batting for. Crawford a .250 average on the year, 11 for 44. Taylor down 3-2, bottom of the fifth. They've had the answer in each half inning after Indiana Tech has gone ahead by 1. A wild pitch tied the game at 1. A Moran home run tied the game at 2 in the fourth. And Crawford up 3-0 here on the starter, McGee. And it's a 4-pitch walk to Crawford. So a perfect start here for the Trojans on the third free pass allowed by McGee today. And time will be called, and we'll see Seth Sorensen, the pitching coach in his first season at Indiana Tech, making his way out to the mound for a conversation. Other scores, only one other game going on right now. It's Marion on the baseball side up 12-7 over Bruton Parker out of Georgia. That'll be the only game the Knights play today. Southeastern is taking on Spring Arbor down in Florida. Huntington takes on IU Southeast. The Foresters got a big win yesterday against the top 15 IU Southeast club. Bethel and Oakland City for a doubleheader today, and then St. Francis has got 2 against Alice Lloyd. Southeastern, IU Southeast, and Oakland City games against Spring Arbor, Huntington, and Bethel all started at about noon. We have no scores for those contests. Tying run is on over at first in the form of Connor Crawford. Top of the order up for Nick Rushi, who's 0 for 1 this afternoon after going 4 for 6 yesterday. Low and away for ball 1 in the righty versus lefty matchup, McGee versus Rushi. There is some activity over in the Indiana Tech bullpen as Crawford shuffles his way back on to first on the check over there. Looks like it's the right-hander Hayes Sturtzman warming up for Indiana Tech. A ball to Rushi with Taylor down here in the 5th. Runner goes. Hit and run is on, looping into left field and diving and making the catch is Yeshua Saint. He'll try to double up Crawford at first. A huge throw, and scooping it will be De Los Santos. An amazing double play there by Indiana Tech as Saint dives in left field to rob Rushi of a hit. Second time he's been robbed of a hit today. First one was by Olden, and then a long, long throw from Saint in left. Doubles up Crawford at first, and just like that, the Trojans have got 2 outs on the board with nobody on. First double play that either team's been able to turn here in the series so far. And the Trojans will turn to Vandermolen, trying to keep the bottom of the 5th alive. A breaking ball from McGee for a strike. Started off really rough for McGee, a 4-pitch walk, and then a good swing by Rushi, but a diving catch by Saint, and then they double up Crawford. Has given McGee new life here in the 5th. And he blows one by Vandermolen here on a swing and a miss. As Indiana Tech tries to hold a lead for the first time going into a new inning. As Taylor has been able to answer each single run by Indiana Tech heading into the 5th. Tied it in the 1st, tied it in the 4th. They're down 3-2 here against the number 12 team in the country here in the bottom of the 5th with 2 gone. McGee readies. 2-strike pitch. Vandermolen, hard hit left side, just past the diving Daftari at third, and this will die in front of the Taylor bullpen. Hustling into second base is Vandermolen. He's in there standing up. First hit of the day for Vandermolen. 3rd extra base knock for the Trojans. They'll try to start another 2-out rally here, trying to tie the game at 3. It looks like Kip McWilliams will make his way out of the Indiana Tech dugout, and there will be a pitching change here for the Warriors. So Spencer McGee's afternoon has come to a close after the 2-out double by Cade Vandermolen. Still a 3-2 lead for Indiana Tech. But the Trojans have the tying run on in scoring position. We'll be back with a new pitcher after this here on the Trojan Sports Network. New pitcher in for the Trojans, or new pitcher in for Indiana Tech is Hayes Sturzman. 6'4" right-hander out of North Manchester, Indiana. He'll face off with TJ Bass. Sturzman making his first appearance of the year for Indiana Tech, and he comes in a big spot with Taylor down 3-2. Leaves this one up high to the hard-swinging Bass, 1-0. 72 pitches for Spencer McGee today, the starter. He goes 4 2/3. He'll remain in the Indiana Tech lineup as the DH. Bass 0 for 2 this afternoon, trying to find that first hit. Checks his swing at a fastball at the knees, taken for a strike. He's got Vandermolen at second after a 2-out double after the Trojans got a walk to Connor Crawford, the pinch hitter. Here to start this inning off, but then he got doubled up over at first base after a splendid diving catch by Saint in left. Fastball away, opposite batter's box, 1-1, or 2-1 now to TJ Bass. Bass came into the day the best batter for the Trojans with a .298 average, and also a team best 17 hits. He's driven in 9 this year, so looking for that first home run. Big swing there, trying to get that first round tripper. Misses it, and it's 2-2. 2 outs, tying run at second in Cade Vandermolen, with Taylor trailing 3-2 here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Righty versus righty matchup. Taylor's had the answer every time Indiana Tech has scored earlier in this game, being able to tie it when they've come up to the plate. 2-2 away, good eye from Bass, and the count is full with Ben Calbaugh, the Taylor catcher, waiting on deck. Excellent crowd on hand here today at Winterholder Field on a beautiful afternoon on the second to last day of February. The payoff. Inside on the hands, Bass leans away, and the Trojans have put 2 on with 2 outs for Ben Calbaugh. So Sturzman walks the first batter he faces. And Ben Calbaugh will try to keep things rolling here for Taylor in the 5th. 4 hits for the home team today. 3 have gone for extra bases, including 1 by Calbaugh, who doubled his first time up. Saint, the left fielder, backs up. Playing in is Alvarez in right. 2 on for Calbaugh. First pitch swinging. He sends this one into the air, foul territory right side. De Los Santos, the first baseman, is there. He's underneath, and the Trojans threaten with 2 outs here in the bottom of the 5th, but can't push a run across. And we head to the 6th with Indiana Tech on top. 3-2 over Taylor here on the Trojan Sports Network.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body. And its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments, in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
What limits you? Too small, too old, insecure, broken. You have no limits. Rethink your limits.
Reese Olden, who's made some plays all over the place today for Indiana Tech. The center fielder had a diving catch to rob Rushev a hit earlier in the game. He's gone 2 for 2 at the plate with a pair of doubles as he tries to extend Indiana Tech's 3-2 lead here in the top half of the 6th. Fastball low from Gongwer in his second full inning of work. It's 1-1. And Sam Shively back up in the Taylor bullpen, warming up once again. Olden gets a hold of this one, sending it towards Foster in center. Jogging in, finds it in the sun, makes the easy catch. Actually make that Bass in center, as Crawford will remain in and play right field for the Trojans after pinch hitting for Foster earlier in the inning. So Morris remains in center, or Morris remains in left, Bass moves to center in place of Foster, and Crawford stays in and will play right field. 1 out, no one on for Ritson, the shortstop. Still in search of that first official at-bat today. He's batting for the 3rd time. First offering low for a ball. Sacrifice bunt in the 2nd. Then he walked and was put out at second base in the 4th. Gongwer high and away with a fastball, 2-0. 3-2 game as Indiana Tech tries to pick up that first win of the year after dropping their first 5, including a doubleheader sweep yesterday at the hands of this Taylor club, 2-1 and 8-1. Backdoor or inside fastball leaning out of the way is Ritson, 3-0. With Sam Shively continuing to warm up in the Taylor bullpen. Luke Carlson down there as well for Taylor, if need be. The 3-0 from Gongwer. Inside at the knees for a strike, 3-1. After this will be Yeshua Saint in the top of the order for Indiana Tech. 3 balls and a strike to Ritson. Golfs this one towards Bass in center, comes forward, right there, makes the catch chest high for out number 2. Yeshua Saint, whose spectacular diving catch in the bottom half of the 5th inning snuffed out any hopes of Taylor trying to tie the game a half inning ago. And then he turned and fired a rocket over to first to double up Connor Crawford for the first 2 outs of the inning. Trying to get a 2-out rally going here in the 6th. Backdoor breaking ball from Gongwer. Nicks the outside part of the plate to the lefty. Switch hit to the lefty Saint, who's a switch hitter, for a strike. Saint 1 for 3 today. The 0-1. Comes inside fastball. Just misses by a hair. It's 1-1. Third one from Gongwer. And Saint will foul this one off the inside part of his leg. He's got a protective shield on his right ankle, but this one might have gotten him on the left ankle a little bit. 1 ball and 2 strikes as he tries to walk this one off. Being a switcher, he's got the chin protection on both sides of his helmet. He's down in the count, 1 ball and 2 strikes with nobody on and 2 outs in the 6th. And Indiana Tech leading 3-2 over Taylor, trying to win their first game of the year and the first game of the series. Gongwer likes the sign he gets from Calball, readies for the 1-2. Sets and deals. Inside or outside part of the plate, just a whisker away. The Taylor infield thought that was good for strike 3, but their opinion does not count in these situations. And it's 2-2. Gongwer trying to retire the side in order here in the top half of the 6th. 2-2 pitch. Ground ball to the right side, bouncing and foul. It remains 2-2 as the Indiana Tech dugout boos their first base coach for not coming up with a ground ball play over to our right. Two balls, 2 strikes, 2 outs. Gongwer readies. Sets and comes home. Swing and a miss. Down on strikes as Saint, as his batting helmet rises to the top of his head. 3rd K for Gongwer and a much-needed 1-2-3 top of the 6th. The Taylor down 3-2 to To the bottom half of the inning we go. Dudkowski, Moran, and Morris, the three up for Taylor here on the Trojan Sports Network. That's next. Three-two, bottom of the sixth. Dudkowski, Moran, and Morris. 5, 6, and 7 coming up for Taylor to try to even the game at 3. First pitch swinging is Dudkowski. This one sent out of play to our left. Matt, the DH, after being the starting pitcher for the Trojans today. And Matt is 0 for 2 with a ground out and a fly out. Sits on one up high, 1-1. Third one, swing and a miss on a breaking ball inside. Big cut from Dudkowski. And he's down 1-2. First full inning of work for Stutzman. Off the end of the bat, a line drive that'll sail out of play, foul. And it's still 1-2. Update from the Taylor football game. They're down 20-7 midway through the third at Marion. Another foul ball off to our left by Dudkowski. The Taylor touchdown, a pass from Saltzgaber, Zach Saltzgaber to Preston Scott. Another foul ball from Dudkowski again, trying to stay alive here. And it's 3-2. Number 12, Indiana Tech. Dudkowski battling here, has fouled off 3 straight pitches with the count sitting at 1-2. As Stutzman ready in his season debut, now steps off the hill. The pitch here, and another foul ball by Dudkowski goes sailing off out of play to the left. Dudkowski trying to line one up here. Stutzman with his right arm dangling to his side now goes into the windup. Inside pitch, he got Dudkowski to swing inside, spins himself around, then slams his bat in frustration. 0 for 3 is Dudkowski today, first K for Stutzman. And there's one out for Taylor here in the 6th. That was an 8-pitch at bat with Dudkowski. He fouled off 4 straight pitches when the count got to 1-2. Now here's Moran. Breaking ball in front of that one, pulls it to the left. Foul. Moran 1 for 2 today. His home run in the 4th tied the game at 2 before Indiana Tech came back and got a run in the top of the 5th. That's our lead right now as we sit in the 6th. The home run for Moran was his 2nd of the season. The 0-1 missing up high, 1-1. Third one gets a swing and a miss by Miranda Stutzman, and he falls behind 1-2 with Morris waiting on deck for TU. And the 1-2 fastball, missing it is Moran. Back-to-back strikeouts here for Stutzman as he starts to find his groove here in his season debut. It'll be Jacob Morris trying to kickstart a two-out rally here for the Trojans as they trail 3-2 in the bottom half of the sixth inning. Morris the double. He also has a defensive highlight for Taylor today, throwing a guy out at home in the first. Curveball in on the hands, called for strike one. Morris started the day batting an even 200 as Indiana Tech moves their outfield around a little bit, shifting them to the left with Saint and the center fielder Olden. Second pitch to Morris, fastball that he misses low, 0-2. And the 0-2 ends a striking out of the side by Stutzman. His first full inning of work is a memorable one in his season debut. We're through 6 here at Winter-Holder Field. Number 12, Indiana Tech, leads Taylor 3-2 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
It's true. Many of us spend more time thinking about what's for dinner than thinking about retirement. But if you think your retirement needs deserve more attention, we agree, and we'd like to help. Your local Edward Jones financial advisors, Ryan Jones, Mark Sieglin, and Rob Sisson, can help you get started today. They are proud corporate partners of Taylor University Athletics. Edward Jones, making sense of investing.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street,
Six innings complete here from Winter-Holder Field. Daftari, McGee, and Snyder, the three due up for number 12 Indiana Tech as they try to build on their 3-2 lead over Taylor. First pitch from Gongwer, a strike as he starts his third inning in relief for the starter Matt Dutkowski. Single runs all day for both teams, one in the first, fourth, and fifth for Indiana Tech. Swing and a miss, and it's quickly 0-2 as Daftari chases one up high. He had an RBI single in the first to get the scoring going for Indiana Tech, and then is grounded out and struck out his last two times up. This is the second time he's faced Gongwer today. The two-strike pitch, and Daftari stays alive, fouling it up and out of play to the right. It sounds like from those that watch that ball sail away, sounds like that one just missed hitting a car. The Indiana Tech dugout trying to come to life here. Spoiling their third baseman, Daftari. Backdoor breaking ball in front of it and pulls it to the left foul. Three to 2, the Indiana Tech lead here in the top of the seventh. To the leadoff man, Daftari. The 0-2 again. Right at the belt, nicely done by Gongwer. Freezes Daftari for the fourth K for Gongwer. One out in the seventh for Indiana Tech. That brings to the DH Spencer McGee, the starting pitcher today for Indiana Tech. He's had a good day at the plate, going 2 for 3. Fastball up high from Gongwer, up and away, 1-0. Couple of singles for McGee today. Lifts this one foul to the left. Strike one. Gongwer out of the stretch. Nobody on for Indiana Tech here in the top of the 7th. The Warriors lead Taylor 3-2. Third one from Gongwer. Golfs this one to the right center field gap. Bass comes hustling in. Still hustling. Dives. He can't make the catch. It'll bounce in. Is Crawford there to back it up? It'll be a single to the outfield for McGee. His 3rd hit today, and he'll run this time since he's now the DH. And that's the 9th hit for Indiana Tech. They combined for just 8 hits yesterday. They've got 9 of them here so far in game 1, with 1 out in the 7th for Michael Snyder. Snyder's had an eventful day today. McGee dances off of first. They call Gongwer off the mound to the Trojans. Snyder 0 for 3. He reached on a fielding error in the 5th. And those 2 errors have been costly for the Trojans. It led to the 3rd run of the day for Indiana Tech, and they lead 3-2 right now. Infield playing at double play depth. McGee a safe lead over at first. Gongwer taking his time before coming home. First one to Snyder, low in the turf. Ball number 1. And Taylor head coach Kyle Gould calls time, and the Trojans will make a pitching change. With 1 pitch into the at-bat, it'll be number 21, Luke Carlson, the big lefty, coming in for TU.
Ivanhoe's has been serving Taylor students since 1965, when Ivan and Carol Slane purchased the restaurant. Located on Main Street, Ivanhoe's is less than a mile from the Taylor campus and is open 7 days a week. The menu features choices for lunch, dinner, as well as 100 different milkshakes and sundaes. Customers can find other dessert items as well. The staff is proud to support Taylor University and appreciates the support of Ivanhoe's through the years.
Luke Carlson comes in for Gong, where he'll have a 1-0 count to work with here against Mike Snyder with a runner at first. And Carlson blisters in a fastball for a strike. Gongwer goes 2 1/3 innings, allows 2 hits, 1 run. It was not earned. He struck out 4. And he is responsible for the man at first. That is Spencer McGee with the single. Second one from Carlson misses for the 6'4 lefty out of Illinois. 2-1. Luke making his 5th appearance, all in relief. He's got an 0-1 overall record, a 5.40 ERA with 11 strikeouts and just 3 walks and 6 2/3. Runner goes, caught between halfway, Calbaugh down to second, and he got him! Good tag by Vandermolen and a strike at the plate as Calbaugh throws out McGee, who got hung up a little bit between first and second. But a big out there by Calbaugh to keep the runner off the bases, and Taylor an out away from going down just by 1 as we head to the stretch. Off the end of the bat, foul on a screamer by the big fella Snyder. Two guys that stand at 6'4", locking horns here. 6th runner that Calbaugh has thrown out this season. The 2-2 again. Fastball right back up the middle. Carlson almost got a piece of his, went flying by. Into center field it goes, a 2-out single for Snyder, his first hit of the day, and the 10th one for Indiana Tech will extend things here in the top half of the 7th. And Jaden Reed will come in to courtesy run, it looks like, for Snyder. And it'll be Jacob Alvarez here. With Indiana Tech leading 3-2 in the top of the 7th. They've got a man on after Calbaugh threw a runner out at second for the second out of the inning. Breaking ball, Carlson missing its mark, 1-0. Second one. Fastball low, covered up by Calbaugh, 2-0. Alvarez is 0 for 3 today, but has reached on a fielding error by Nick Ruschi in the 5th, and that's been the difference right now as that scored the 3rd run of the day for Indiana Tech, and they lead 3-2 right now to break that 2-all tie. 2-0 from Carlson. Fastball low, 3-0. Three balls, no strikes to Alvarez, with Snyder Reed at first, running for Snyder. Fastball down the middle, taken for strike 1. Alvarez trying to get going here. Was 1 for 4 yesterday. Ground ball left side. Ruschi at short, charges, underhands to Vandermolen at second to get the force out there. And Indiana Tech will leave 1 on the bases, but we head to the stretch with Taylor down just 3-2 to number 12, Indiana Tech.
Your heart, well, your heart is everything to you and your body, and its favorite place to be is home. Marion General Hospital has been named a nationally accredited chest pain center, which is the highest accomplishment in cardiovascular care. We are proud to provide our community with a team of cardiac experts throughout MGH. From our ambulance and emergency room to our cardiovascular departments in partnership with our experienced local cardiologists and interventional cardiologists from St. Vincent's Medical Group. The same level of cardiovascular expertise in bigger cities at larger hospitals is available right here. Everyone has their expertise. At MGH, our expertise is your heart, bringing the best in the nation home to you. Your heart is in the right place at MGH.
Eight, 9, and 1 coming up for Taylor here in the bottom of the 7th. They are down 3-2. 10 hits for Indiana Tech, just 4 for the Trojans today. Lawson to the right side. Snyder knocks it down, picks it back up onto first. It'll be in there in time. Nope, actually make that staying in there is going to be Reed. So he pinch runs for Snyder, and Reed will stay in to play defense at second base. He gets the out there. Second time the Trojans go out on the first pitch here in the last couple of innings. As Sturzman has found his groove and stuck into it here today. Connor Crawford, the right fielder, bats for the second time today. First time against Sturzman. An inside pitch for ball 1. Crawford walked to lead things off in the 5th, but then got doubled up at first after the diving catch by Yeshua Saint. A batter later sends this one on a charge. The center field is going to go way over Reese Olden's head and go into the fence. Crawford's on his horse at second. He's going to set his sights on third and just rumbles his way in for a triple with one out as he tattooed one over Olden's head in center. Second or third time this series, we've seen the Indiana Tech outfielders play way too close, and it burns them here, putting the tying run 90 feet away. Fifth hit of the day for the Trojans, their 4th one that's gone for extra bases. And let's see what Ruschi can do here. One out in the bottom of the 7th as Taylor tries to tie our game at 3. Crawford, his first triple of the year, 6th one for Taylor. Ruschi swings away, lifts it into right field. This should be deep enough to score Crawford. Alvarez keeps drifting back, makes the catch in front of the track, then slips. And Crawford will score easily after the triple, and the game tied at 3 on the sac fly from Ruschi. It'll be Cade Vandermolen stepping in for TU here. 3-3 game here with 2 outs in the 7th. Vandermolen 1 for 2 today, batting for the 4th time. First one from Sturzman. Vandermolen hits it high, but not deep enough. Olden shielding his eyes from the sun. There's a ton of people converging, and no one catches it for Indiana Tech. There were 4 guys there, and no one could come up with it as Vandermolen gets a 2-out knock, and the Trojans can try to take their first lead of the day if Bass can keep things rolling here. A much more aggressive Taylor offense here in the 7th. They are jumping on the first pitches from Sturzman just like they did yesterday in Game 2. And it paid off with a 3-run homer for Vandermolen to put Taylor up 3-1 in Game 2 yesterday. Well, Bass is no slouch in the power department as the Indiana Tech dugout screams and time is called as they set things up defensively. Bass 0 for 2 today with a walk. Fastball Sturzman, Bass, a little nubber left side, backhand stop by Ritson. The shortstop gets the out over at second for the force out there, but the Trojans able to tie it up at 3 after the triple from Crawford and the sac fly from Ruschi. We head to the 8th with a game level at 3 here on the Trojan Sports Network.
fuel to be your nephew's #1 fan. Holiday Inn Express. We're there, so you can be too.
Luke Carlson gets his first full inning of work here. Starts with a curveball upstairs. 4-1 to Christian De Los Santos. But a triple from Crawford and a sac fly from Ruschi has tied the game at 3 as we start play here in the 8th. Second pitch lifted high in the air. Charging in Crawford. Vandermolen's there, calls his man off, and then no one's there. Then trying to stretch into two De Los Santos. He is meat at second base. He got way too greedy, and he was out by a country mile. And so the Trojans avoid disaster after they call 3 guys, call everybody off. And De Los Santos thrown out at second. So De Los Santos will get his 3rd hit of the day, but he doesn't get to stay on the bases. And there's 1 out with Escano, the catcher, stepping in. Carlson, the lefty, comes home. A very, very hot fastball called for a strike at the belt. So it was Ruschi covering second. And it was either Moran or Vandermolen who turned and got the out after the pop fly was dropped along the right field line. 0-1 curveball. Good eye from Escano. Thought about swinging at it, instead holds it back. It's 1-1. So Vandermolen on the putout. Third pitch called for a strike. It's 1-2. Escano today 0 for 3 with 2 pop outs and a strikeout. Game 1 of the doubleheader, Game 3 of the series. A win by Taylor would give them the series win after sweeping the doubleheader yesterday. Carlson rears back and fires a fastball away, 2-2. Indiana Tech trying to get that first win of the year. They come in 0-5. They've played top competition through those first 5. 2-2. Golfing left side, just diving, but it'll go foul by Lawson. Still 2-2. Taylor football team has just scored a touchdown. Second pass today by Zach Saltzgaber. They trail 20-13 with the extra point to come. A 28-yard run by Brandon Lamb set that touchdown up. 2-2. Curveball by Carlson, pulled to the left, and remains 2-2. The touchdown catch for Harrison Eckel. Second touchdown pass today from Zach Saltzgaber. And the extra point is good. And a fastball away from Carlson. The count has run full to Escano. Escano, excuse me. Reese Olden's on deck. And the payoff pitch fouled back by Escano. It's still 3-2. One out, no one on. Top of the 8th, 3-3 ball game. Payoff. Carlson fouling it back as Escano again staying alive. 4th foul ball with 2 strikes by the Indiana Tech catcher. Three-two again. Curveball lifted into the air right side. Crawford underneath. Sunglasses down. Catch is made for out number 2. 2 outs and nobody on for one of the best batters today for Indiana Tech and Reese Olden. One of 3 guys for the Warriors today with multiple hits in this game. He's gone 2 for 3 so far. First time he'll face Carlson today. Fastball right at the knees, down the middle for a strike. Second one from Carlson. This one way away as it slips out of his left hand. 1-2. Or 1-1, excuse me. A pair of doubles for Olden today, an RBI double in the 4th. Then he flew out to Bass in the 6th. Third one from Carlson. Curveball missing upstairs, 2-1. Jake Ritson, the shortstop, waits on deck for Indiana Tech. 2-1. Fastball into the air right side. Crawford's got to get to the right center field gap. He's on his horse. He gets there and makes the catch above his head. 3 up, 3 down, top of the 8th. Good job by Luke Carlson. To the bottom of the 8th we go. Taylor will have Calbaugh, Dudkowski, and Moran 4, 5, and 6 in a 3-all game. Here from